Well, South Africa is celebrated as one of the most diverse countries in the world. This is evidenced through the country's linguistic diversity. The Pan-South African Language Board is hosting International Mother Language Day. That's today. It says it is concerned about the youth's lack of interest in mother tongues.
Are losing interest, but this definitely starts from home, from families. I think it also speaks to how they were also raised and what motivation they got from their different families. We, unfortunately, most of the parents are still subscribing to the idea that the more you get fluent in English, that marks an element of wisdom and being knowledgeable. So now we are battling with such, because even our youth, you look at the social media, definitely our languages are not actually in use.
Let's talk more then about the importance of learning and teaching in your mother tongue. We're joined via Skype by educational psychologist Maher. Claire, very good afternoon to you. I don't know if you heard that, but the Pan-South African Language Board saying that there's an apparent lack of interest in mother tongues from young people. Why is that?
Thanks, Timbakile. Thanks for having me. So I think a large portion is like what we heard in the snippet there, is that I think that they're seeing English as being a more knowledgeable language. And across the world, the English language is sort of seen to be more with more economic value as well. And sort of in your business world, English is the desired language to be used. So people are moving away from indigenous languages because they feel that English is superior in that sense.
And just in line with that thought, Claire, I mean, it is UNESCO that declared 2022 to 2032 as the International Decade for Indigenous Languages, highlighting just how critical it is for this to happen. But what work needs to be done in that decade, because this day alone cannot be enough for the preservation of languages?
Absolutely. I mean, we need to be able to move towards encouraging indigenous languages to be used, particularly earlier on in the education system. So in your foundation phase, grades 1 to 3, and some people even say up to grade 6, children should be being taught in their mother.
All right, the Skype line there to Claire Maher isn't the greatest, but she was speaking to us there about International Mother Tongue Day, just highlighting the issues around the apparent lack of interest from young people in particular. Claire, I'm told you are back with us. We were talking about just the work that needs to be done between 2022 and 2032 as a decade to try and save mother tongues, essentially.
Absolutely. I think what I was saying, I'm sorry I got cut off, what I was saying is that we need to move towards encouraging schools to be incorporating English within the earlier foundation, so the grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and even out to grade 6, including, not English, the indigenous languages, and having children taught in their indigenous languages to make it possible to move forward in the education system and into the workplace using one's mother tongue instead of English.
And do we do that in the home as well? Because you come across a lot of people who speak other South African languages. For example, you highlighted this in the attitudes who say, I want my child to speak the very best English, often risking, for example, in my case, a child who would speak isiXhosa or Sesotho.
Absolutely. I think it all starts at home, and I think we have to be encouraging parents to shift away from seeing English as the better language, because I think what happens then is there's this school of thought that parents think that if children learn English from as early on as possible, it's going to equip them better going forward into their schooling. But actually we're finding that children who are taught in their mother tongue earlier and then only shift into English are actually performing better at school. And we need to just shift around the conceptions that we have around English as a language, as well as what's needed in terms of succeeding academically in the school environment.
Claire Maher, educational psychologist, thank you so much for being upfront with us this afternoon.